What's up, wavers? Welcome to PhD in Waves. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm gonna go over all the reasons why your wash and style is not working for you. I've made a ton of wash and style videos, and I keep getting comments of people saying the wash and style is not working for you, your hair is curling up, you lost progress. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over all the reasons why the wash and style is not working for you, and then I'm also gonna give you easy ways to fix these problems and solutions so you can do the wash and style successfully. The wash and style is probably the best 360 wave method in order to get waves, in order to gain progress very fast. So I want everybody to master the wash and style method. So with that being said, let's get right into it. The first reason why the wash and style method is not working for you is because your hair is not long enough. I made a video after I scalped. My hair was starting to grow and I decided to do the wash and style method just to see what would happen. And literally nothing happened. I wasn't able to get waves, and that's simply because my hair wasn't long enough. If you want to do the wash and style, you want to make sure that you have enough curls on your head in order for them to form into waves. But if your hair is not long enough and you haven't reached your curl length, it's impossible for the wash and style method to work for you. Also, if your hair is not even able to curl up, if you have a straighter hair texture, the wash and style is not going to be able to get you waves because waves are simply curls laid down. I went over all these topics in my 360 wave guide on my website where I break down all of these things, including this video. I don't want to gatekeep this kind of information. Another reason why the wash and style method doesn't work for shorter hair is because when you're rinsing out your hair, when your hair is at shorter lengths, it's very easy for your hair to move out of place. But if you have more hair, if you have a thicker, fuller head of hair, it is going to be a lot harder for your hair to move out of place when you're rinsing it during the wash and style. The second reason why the wash and style method is not working for you is because you're not using enough lather. And that could be for two reasons. The first reason is you're not using enough soap, and the second reason is your hair is simply not clean enough. The cleaner your hair is, the more lather you're going to be able to create. So I'm actually going to demonstrate a lot of these things that I'm going to say in the video just to give you guys a better understanding of how to do the wash and style method successfully. All right, wavers, so let me demonstrate what I just went over about not having enough lather. So let me go over that right now. All right, so I'm going to wet my hair. Then I'm going to add some soap. All right, so as you can see, there's literally no lather on this first scramble wash. There's literally no lather at all. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to scramble wash 2 to 3 times in order to create a thicker lather. As you can see, my hair is getting cleaner and cleaner. That's why you could see more lather. So throughout the full wash and style, you want to make sure you have a very thick lather throughout the full process, because lather is actually the main thing that's going to keep your hair laid down. So you do want to make sure that you have lather throughout the whole process. All right, wavers, so the next reason why the wash and style method is not working for you is because you're not training your hair enough. You're not brushing your hair into place or putting your hair into place enough for you to get 360 waves. All right, so after I rinse out my hair, I like to comb my hair back into place just to make sure everything is nice and detangled. All right, so even though I comb my hair into place, you could still see my hair is still frizzy. So in order to stop that, the whole reason the wash and style method works so well is because of lather. Lather is the main thing that is gonna hold all this frizziness down, and it's gonna make sure your pattern is laid. So right now, I'm gonna add in a bunch of soap into my hair just so I can create a thick lather. Alright, so now that I put lather all throughout my hair, the next thing I want to do is I want to put lather inside my brush. The reason you want to put soap in your brush is because, look, I'm going to start brushing my hair. You could literally see the lather disappear from my hair simply by brushing my hair. So what I want to do is I want to add soap to my brush, and I want to make sure that my brush is also filled with a bunch of soap and lather, because like I said, lather is the main ingredient that's going to keep your hair laid, and it's going to be the main reason your hair stays in place during the wash and style method. So now I am going to add more soap to my hair. So the next reason why the wash and style method isn't working for you is because you're not training your hair enough, you're not brushing your hair enough, you're not putting in the brush work. You want to spend like 3 to 4 minutes on each side of your wave pattern just to make sure it's nice and trained. But if you're literally just spending like 5 minutes in total on your whole pattern, there's no way for your hair to be trained. So you do want to make sure you're spending a very good amount of time training each side of your wave pattern. Also, it's not required, but that's also why I like using a detangling brush, just to make sure my pattern is nice and detangled. But you could simply use a regular brush just to train your hair. Also, during the wash and style method, if you start to lose lather, don't be afraid to add more soap and add more water, just so you maintain a thick lather throughout the full wash and style process. And like I keep saying, the lather is the main ingredient that's going to keep your hair laid and in place. And you also want to make sure that you're using a brush that's hard enough. If your hair is long, you shouldn't be using a soft brush. You should be using a medium or a hard brush, just to ensure that your hair is being moved into place and trained properly. And also, you want to make sure that the bristles are training all layers of your pattern. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna get in a nice, good brush session just to make sure all my hair is in place and everything is nice and laid. Brush the main sides of your pattern, you do want to do some crown isolation. So that's what I'm going to do right now for around 3 to 4 minutes, just to make sure that my crown area is in place. Also, my mirror broke, so I'm using this mini mirror to see my brush angles. So starting to become trained when you could already see your waves during this process. Like, you could really see my waves already. That's because I've been brushing so much that my waves are starting to pop out. All right, wavers, so after you get in a brush session and you spend a good amount of time training your wave pattern, and you know for a fact all your hair is brushed into place on each side, including your crown area, the next step is also very important. This is probably another reason why the wash and style isn't working for you. But if you're not smoothing your entire wave pattern down with lather before you put on the Durag, that could be a reason why the wash and style method is not working for you. After you brush, what you want to do is you want to get a very thick lather to smooth your entire wave pattern down. So I got some soap and some water, I got some lather. Now I'm just smoothing down my entire wave pattern. Just like that. I don't want to see any frizz at all. I want to make sure everything is nice and laid before I put on the Durag. So if you see a place that you think might be a little bit out of place, just go back and brush it back into place. Now we're going back to laying everything down. After I get the main sides of my pattern, I like to go to my crown and make sure it's laid down and in place. No. All right, it looks like everything is nice and smoothed down. The next step is putting on a Durag. Another reason why the wash and style may not be working for you is because either you're not tying your Durag tight enough or you're tying it too tight. If you tie the Durag too loose, your hair is gonna fall out of place when you're rinsing out your hair. So you wanna make sure it's tight enough, but you don't wanna make it so tight that you're crushing your waves. So you wanna put it on in a way that's very delicate and careful, but you also wanna make sure it's nice and secure. You want to put it on very carefully. You don't want to ruin the lather. You don't want to ruin the way your waves are, because the Durag is kind of locking in your wave pattern to the way it is. So just tie it where, you know, it's tight enough, but it's not hurting your head. I feel like that's a good way to look at it. All right. I like to double knot it just in case, because I don't want the Durag to fall off while I'm rinsing out. Also, I like to tie the tail. Everything is nice and secure. The next reason why the washing style may not be working for you is because you're using hot water. You want to make sure the water is actually on the colder side. You don't really want to use hot water, because hot water can actually make your curls very loose and they can move them out of place. So I recommend using slightly cold water. It doesn't have to be freezing, just make sure it's not warm or hot. You don't want a super strong pressure while you're rinsing it out, because that can move your hair out of place, and that could be another reason why the wash and style method is not working for you. Let me rinse out my hair so we can move on to the next step.
Enough.
All right, wavers, so I just got done rinsing all the soap out of my hair with like cold water, and like I said, I'm just patting my hair dry just to get it as dry as possible, just to speed up the drying process. So another reason why the washing style may not be working for you is you're not letting your hair fully dry. Like I said before, water causes your hair to frizz, and the Durag is actually keeping your hair laid down until it's fully dry. So if you take off your Durag before your hair is dry, your hair is still gonna frizz up. It doesn't matter how much brushing you did, how much lather you used. If you don't keep the Durag on, your hair is gonna frizz up, because the Durag is holding your hair down. Before, the lather was holding your hair down, but now that you rinsed out all the lather from your hair, the Durag is kind of like taking the place of the lather, if that makes sense. So you wanna make sure your Durag stays on. I don't care if it takes your hair 3 or 4 hours to dry. Make sure you keep your Durag on, or your hair will frizz up and you're gonna waste all that time. You're gonna lose all that progress. The best thing you could do is use a towel, or I don't really recommend this. I don't know how safe it is, but if you wanna use a blow dryer to speed things up, it may or may not work, but I've always just let my hair air dry. I'm gonna wait for my hair to fully dry, and then I'm gonna show you guys the final results. I went over everything you guys have to do. Hopefully you follow along. So once my hair completely dries, I'm gonna show you guys the final results. Also, I forgot to say, while you're waiting for your hair to dry, don't lay down on the bed. Don't lay your head down on anything. You're just gonna get your pillow wet, and you could also crush your waves that way. And that's probably another reason why the wash and style method is not working for you. Just let your hair air dry. All right, wavers, my hair just finished drying. It took around almost 3 hours. So when you're waiting for your hair to dry, especially if your hair is longer, it is gonna take a little bit of time. So you have to be patient, and please make sure your hair is fully dry. You can tell your hair is dry if you like pat down on your Durag and you don't really feel any water on your scalp. Also, you gotta make sure your Durag is fully dry too. So let me show you guys the results. Okay. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. These are the results. Like every single time. Look at those results. It's insane. I'm not gonna tell you guys what I do after the wash and style, because I already have a video about what I do after the wash and style. But if you follow all those steps that I detailed for you in this video, your waves should come out super silky like we have here. Super duper silky. So yeah, just to go over everything one more time. First, your hair might not be long enough. You need to have long enough hair in order for the wash and style to work. Secondly, you need a lot of lather in order to lay down your pattern. The third thing is you do want to get in a good amount of a brush session, like at least 10 to 15 minutes, just to make sure you're properly training your whole pattern. Next, you want to make sure you're using the lather to smooth down your wave pattern. That's why my hair is so laid right now, because the lather really was, laying down my hair. Also, you don't want to tie your do-rag too tight. You want to have a sweet spot because you don't want to crush your waves. You want to make sure they're protected, but you don't want to crush them. And next, you don't want to use blazing hot water. You want to use water that's on the colder side. And then last but not least, you want to make sure your hair is completely dry. Like I said, my hair is completely dry, but if I still had some water in my hair, it would be a little bit frizzy. So you do want to make sure that you're letting your hair dry. Hopefully you guys are able to really learn from this video, just so the next time you do the wash and style, you can do it perfectly. If you guys do want to learn more about 360 waves, some advanced tips and tricks, some wave secrets, make sure to head over to my website to cop the 360 wave guide. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.